first sermon of Buddha. The first sermon of Buddha, also known as Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta or the setting in motion of the wheel of Dharma, is a pivotal event in Buddhist history. It took place in Deer Park in Sarnath, India, shortly after Buddha's enlightenment around 2500 years ago. The setting for this event was that Buddha, then known as Siddhartha Gautam, had spent 6 years in intense spiritual practice, seeking to understand the nature of suffering and the path to liberation. Finally, he achieved enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, India. Following his enlightenment, Buddha traveled to Sarnath, where he encountered his former companions, the 5 ascetics, with whom he had practiced austerities. Initially, they were hesitant to approach him, but upon seeing the radiance and transformation in his demeanor, they welcomed him. In his first sermon, Buddha expounded on the 4 noble truths and eightfold path, which form the foundational principles of Buddhism. The 4 noble truths are as follows. The first one being the noble truth of suffering. Dukh. Life is characterized by suffering, dissatisfaction, and imperfection. Birth, aging, sickness, and death are inevitable sources of suffering. The second noble truth is the origin of suffering. Samudaya. The cause of suffering is craving, tanha, and attachment, which led to desires and ignorance. This craving binds individuals to the cycle of birth and rebirth, samsara. The third noble truth is the cessation of suffering, means nirodh. The end of suffering is attainable by extinguishing craving and breaking free from the cycle of birth and rebirth. This state is known as nirvana. The fourth noble truth is the path to the cessation of suffering, that is magga. The eightfold path is a fundamental teaching of Buddhism, guiding practitioners towards achieving enlightenment and freeing themselves from suffering. It consists of 8 interconnected principles or steps to follow. The first one being right view, developing a correct understanding of the nature of reality, including the 4 noble truths, impermanence, and interconnectedness. The second path is right intention, cultivating wholesome and compassionate intentions, renouncing harmful desires, and aiming to cultivate wisdom and kindness. The third is right speech, practicing truthful, kind, and helpful communication while avoiding harmful or divisive speech. The fourth is right action, acting in ways that are ethical and beneficial, avoiding harm to oneself and others. The fifth is right livelihood, engaging in a livelihood that does not harm others, supporting oneself in a way that aligns with Buddhist principles. Sixth is right effort, making consistent and diligent efforts to cultivate positive qualities and overcome unwholesome tendencies. Seventh being right mindfulness, developing awareness of one's thoughts, feelings, and actions in the present moment without attachment or aversion. The eighth and the last one is right concentration, cultivating focused and one-pointed meditation to gain insight and deepen wisdom. Following the eightfold path is considered essential for achieving enlightenment and ultimately transcending the cycle of suffering, samsara. It requires continuous practice, self-reflection, and application in daily life to develop a deeper understanding of oneself and the world. Buddha's teachings on the 4 noble truths emphasized the impermanent and interconnected nature of existence, guiding individuals towards a life of ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom. As Buddha delivered his first sermon, the essence of his teachings spread, and the community of followers, known as the Sangha, began to grow. That's it for today. If you like our videos, please subscribe our channel Inspiring Fables. Thank you so much.